There we go. It says I'm live, but let's give it a few seconds to actually tell. Had to log out of it, log back in. Thank you all for being here. If you can hear me, let me know something. I see 17 of you. Pilgrim 5x5. Thank you. Oh, first off, as usual, let me go in here to the chat real fast. I know I said hi to almost everybody that was there already, but I'd like to say hi in person. Teresa, Kelly, I know I saw all the people. Salty Dog, long time. Blackbird, Sherman Sales, long time. Quahoo. Oh, thank you all for being here. And I know it's been a while. Axeman, thank you for being here. Yeah, YouTube doesn't give notifications. And I haven't been on here for a while. Apparently, I was just informed by Dome Seeker that it's been months, I guess. Didn't even realize that because time flies when you're busy. I honestly thought, like, okay, maybe it's been a month and a half. No, apparently it's been like 6 months, something like that, since I've been on here. And I apologize for that, but sometimes you have to get back to basics, all right? Because we knew that 2025 was going to be a fun one, a hard one. So we had to buckle down. And if you didn't know that 2025 was going to be a rough year financially, then you haven't been paying attention. All right. And yes, we do have the new little warlord coming in about 7 more weeks, 6 probably. Yeah. So that's a good thing. This little one is Xavier. Okay. So that's going to be the little fella's name. And you heard it here first. See there? But thank you. Tariffs. Are these tariffs? Because I've been seeing a lot on YouTube, on Facebook. People that I know are conservative or were Republicans, liberals, every end of the spectrum. I've seen people talking about tariffs. Oh my God, this is a trade war. Yeah. Things are going to get more expensive. Yes. Now, see, I was going to make this video months ago because I knew it was going to happen, but I figured in the age of information, common knowledge, most people should have known that prices go up when you put tariffs. But I was, as usual, I underestimated the ignorance, and by ignorance, I mean by the lack of knowledge of the average American, of the average person that I know, how the willful lack of knowledge, and it boggles my mind. But how do you think America got in the state that we're in right now? How do you think? Why are there no jobs? Why are all the factories shipped overseas? Why did Detroit auto manufacturing basically grind to a halt? Why? Tariffs. And a lot of people will say, well, taxes. Tariffs. You see, I've lived, as most of you know, in 17 different countries, other than this one. This will be 18. 17 countries. And every one of those countries that I've lived in has had ridiculous tariffs on U.S. made manufactured products. Okay. So what that means is that, for example, when most of you know, some of you may not, a lot of my children are half Thai. Okay. And at one point in time, I had a home built over in Thailand. And the American imported toilet, what you and I think of as just a regular, American toilet, American standard toilet, was literally 10% the entire cost of the house build because it's an American-made item. And yeah, the tariffs are ridiculous. Okay, if you want to buy an American automobile in a lot of countries, you have to pay double the price because they have an 80 to 100% tariff on all of our vehicles. Now, the way companies have gotten around this was, well, they base a factory in Korea, South Korea, or in Taiwan, or in Mexico. Pick a country. As long as it's outside of the U.S., then they could import the vehicle or the good into the other countries without having the United States tariff that was put onto the U.S. Okay, it wasn't our tariffs. These are what other countries are doing to us, and so it just became easier for all of these companies to say, "Yeah, well, we're gonna if I make my shoes in Taiwan, then I don't have to pay any fees to get them into China or into Japan or into Europe. Pick a country. They don't have to pay the extra fee, and they can ship them back to the U.S. with no fee. But if they make them here, well, they make a $20 shoe here, a $50 shoe here, and then they have to ship it into another country and pay the country that they're shipping it into $50 just to get it in. Now that $50 shoe is a $100 shoe. All right. Do you see how that is insane? And we allowed them to do this for decades. For decades. So, yes, when you get sick, your body can get a fever, and that fever sucks. It sucks to go through a fever. But a fever is your body fighting the infection. Okay? These tariffs that are being placed on other countries, they're going to make prices go up. Here, it's going to hurt. Why? Because all of the companies that should be making their crap here are making it outside. And so those prices are going to be reflected until it becomes more cost effective for them to say, you know what? America is the primary market base. So to avoid all these fees and tariffs and to get people to buy our stuff by lowering the price, we're going to have to move the factories back to America. Until that happens, yeah, it's going to suck. But people will start making stuff here in the long run. All right? So you got to use your head. You can't just look at arm's length stuff. You need to be able to look over the horizon. Is it going to suck right now? Yeah, well, then don't buy shit that's made overseas. Okay? Are you going to pay a little bit more for American-made items? Yeah, you are. You always have. Why? Because the competition outside of the country has been cheaper. Whose fault is that? It's your fault for wanting and supporting and buying the cheap shit. Okay? So don't look at Orange Man bad. Don't look at whatever your political affiliation. Don't look at those people to save you. You did this to you. Okay? In fact, I was just talking with Dome Seeker today, thinking about changing the name of the channel to Reality with Rob, because I'm going to, and I always have, I've thrown reality out there that people just don't think about and just don't like. And I will hop into the chat here in a second because I see the chat starting to go. But the fact that jobs have gone overseas, I mean, that's primarily anybody my age and older's fault for letting it happen, for not demanding that we have trade wars or tariffs placed on these other countries. All right. We allowed the politicians to get away with it. All right. You think that just happens on its own, that nobody's getting kickbacks? No, of course they are. But stop buying the cheap foreign crap. You stop buying the cheap foreign crap, and then, you have something to bitch about. Let's hop into chat and see what happens here. Also, tariffs are amazing if you are the one with all the leverage. We have Morgan, you're right. We have a population of 340 million. All right. Yes, China has, okay, here you go. China has 1 point whatever billion, 1.1 billion, 1.3 billion people. But most of those people are very poor people. All right. They're not buying the fancy Nike shoes and the fancy flat screen TVs. All right. We're the consumer nation. All right. We've allowed them to become the producer. I mean, for God's sakes, even our weapon components for the U.S. military are primarily made in made in China. All right. And the fact that people have an issue with Trump throwing tariffs, or anybody throwing, I don't care who the politician is, throw tariffs on Canada, throw them on there, throw them on Mexico. You go down to Mexico, you cross the border. How many of you have done that? Not many of you. We used to ride bikes down through the canyons in Tecate, cross over into Mexico, factory after factory after factory, literally 100 yards from the U.S., cranking out products. Why? Because it's cheaper, and they can take their stuff in Mexico and ship it to places like Hong Kong or to England or to France without tariffs. Cross the border over here, make it here. Oh, you got import fees to get it into Canada. You got import fees to get it into France. Why? Why do we let them do that? It's stopping. It's stopping. Now they're seeing their consequences of their actions. This country used to have zero income tax, because if you wanted to do business in America, you had to pay. It was pay to play. It was capitalism, not crony capitalism. It was capitalism, right? You want to make shit in this country and sell here? Fine. You want to make shit outside and bring it here? You're going to pay a tax. And because we always have money, because we have huge resources, all right, we paid no income tax, none. That didn't start until after we had World War One, or was it World War One? World War One to help offset the costs. And if somebody's in the history, make sure I'm correct on that. Let's see. Made in the U.S. is all we need. It's all we should have. All right. Overseas, things that are made in the U.S. are luxury items. Luxury items. Things that are made in their own countries is what everybody has. All right. We need to have the same way here. Things that are made overseas should be luxury items to us, because we can't maintain a society unless we are self-sufficient. Now, there is one caveat to that. We can be a warrior society, an empire, all right, and be self-sufficient. But that requires taking the gloves off and stop, for lack of a better term, being sissies, okay? I use the PG term, sissies, right? Which means that when we go into a country that has oil and we fight for 20 years, we just take the damn oil, all right? If somebody gets uppity about, a country that makes microchips, well, we just say, well, guess what? It's our country now. We're hoisting our flag like freaking pirates, okay? No, Taiwan makes great chips. Guess what? You've just been assimilated. So there's that. But your average American doesn't have the testicular fortitude to do such things, to say such things, or to support those who would, okay? Soft. Most Americans are soft, and they've created hard times. All right, we all know the saying. Okay, we're at the soft men have created hard times part. It's going to take strong men to make good times. Okay, and that might mean that we need to get rid of some of the soft men, or lady men, whatever they are nowadays. But yeah, we need to get back to reality. Right? Tariffs, wonderful thing, have existed since the dawn of time. You've always paid a fee to bring some kind of good into somebody else's port. Okay? I mean, Dutch East India Trading Company did that shit. Yes. The fact that we've allowed everybody to continue to do that to us without charging anything else. Ooh, that guy almost hit that guy. Some people shouldn't operate giant trucks like this. But yeah, it's crazy. Guns coast to coast. How you doing? Thank you for being here. You can't maintain a society with your low birth rate either. Well, guns coast to coast. I agree with that. However, we're working on that. All right. I mean, I've got four plus. Okay, here's Common Core math. I've got four plus my one coming. I've got five. She's got five. 5 plus 5 equals 9. All right, figure that one out. So yeah, I've got 4 plus 1 on the way. She's got 4 plus 1 on the way. Yeah. Awesome, Pilgrim. And then you ask my boys, how many babies you gonna have when you grow up? They're like 4, 5, 8. They just throw out high numbers. I'm like, that's right, that's my boys. You gotta outbreed them. All right. That's another way to take back your nation. Birth rate is destiny. That's correct. Window Liquor says, instead of America sending livestock to be processed in other countries to get their crap, exactly. Why do we send livestock to other countries to be processed when they can be processed here and then brought back, packaged and brought back? Why do we send oil overseas to be refined and brought back as gasoline? Because we don't start any new. We won't build any new refineries. Biden shut down refineries, okay, and the Democrats shut them down. Aren't building any new ones. The insanity of all the people that are going apeshit over the reduction of government, it blows my mind. It's supposed to be very few things that the government is capable of doing per the Constitution. And if you don't like the Constitution, get the hell out of here. All right, just go. Just pack your bag and walk. I don't care, into the ocean. Start swimming. Walk north or south. I don't care. But we need to get. Who in their right mind? And people will say, "Oh, well, the Constitution says that the government can get income taxes up." Oh, really? You think the founding fathers would have shot people in the face? In the face? You telling me that the amendment that allowed the government to start collecting income tax, you think that the representatives of the people actually said, yeah, you know what? The people I represent all want this shit. No. It's just we took our eyes, our ancestors, our grandparents took their eyes off the ball, didn't pay attention, and a bunch of people got in there and said, oh, we can make ourselves rich. So, yeah, everybody talks about, Civil War. Let it happen. And if you don't want a civil war to happen in this country, then you're part of the fucking problem. Sorry. You're part of the problem. Because it ain't going to fix itself. And no one's going to vote themselves less power. All right? So there's that. Yes, gold has gotten hard to find in the small ounces. I have noticed that. Buy more stocks. Yeah. And remember, you can also buy stocks in other exchanges. It doesn't have to be the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. You can buy in the Japanese market. You can buy in every major country has their own version of a stock market. You do not have to invest in this government's BS. All right. Now I know people are like, oh, well, that's just anti-American. Well, unless they're going to start fixing shit, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. Do you? Put all your eggs in one basket. It can get bad real quick. Okay. Yes, Steve Hall, thank you. The tariffs will benefit my kids and my grandkids. I'm going to pin that right to the top. Pin this message right to the top. All right. That many of our neighbors will suffer greatly from price increases. You know what? Don't buy the expensive shit. That's imported shit. You stop buying it, they'll move manufacturing here. But for God's sake, stop crying about the tariffs. You know, if you're one of those people, fix yourself. Okay, just fix yourself. Um, oh, you finding stuff in the rivers? Cool. That's cool. Yeah, they say look for like the black sand along the riverbeds, and that's where you'll find gold. For some reason, it goes together frequently. All right, people. I hope this helps. Some of you understand tariffs and understand what is actually going on. Uh, Maybe you can help tell your neighbors stop crying. It's got to get worse before it gets better. You knew this. You just can't rip out all the corruption and the nastiness, and it's not going to have a negative impact. It's not going to have they're not going to fight back. They're going to make shit look bad. They're going to make shit hurt. All right. What's Wonderlicker say? He says, like this computer chip ordeal, we've known about it last time Trump was in office, and it's still an issue. Why hasn't this been addressed? Yes. Kelly, I'm going to try not to stay away so long. Like I said, I do want to get back on here, but sometimes you got to buckle down and focus on things that actually produce things. Yeah, I don't make any money off of YouTube. You know, if I had 1 million subs, maybe, but no, I don't. So sometimes I got to focus on that. Focus on the little ones. They grow up so fast. They get big so fast. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I hope this helped. Please just get this information to people. You don't have to share this. You don't have to like it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Just take the information. And when you see somebody, there's bad, shut them down. Shut them down. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm out of here.